Meet Jeremy Boland, the assistant principal at Coscob Elementary in Greenwich, Connecticut. Boland met up with one of our undercover journalists and revealed stunning discriminatory hiring practices as well as his politicized beliefs on how his school should be run.
I can't get past the parents anymore.
What do you mean?
So the parents feel as though it's their responsibility to shape the schools, which then shape the kids. Right. So because I can't get past the parents, do I really have as much of an influence on the kids as I want? I try in my own way, but right now my job is to hire the right teachers.
Do we work for the parents or do we work for the kids?
You tell me.
We work for the kids.
So it's not about the parents anymore.
It shouldn't be, I don't think.
Here I am holding a copy of the Coscob 2021 to 2022 handbook. Notice how Jeremy Boland, the assistant principal's name is on here, along with recently retired principal Gene Schmidt. Now, inside this handbook, we found a quote from Boland saying, quote, "Thank you for entrusting us with the care of your child," close quote. But now watch how Boland tells our undercover journalist he doesn't hire anyone who sides with parents.
Ask me as if you're interviewing. Like, what are some of the questions you would ask?
So, trying to think exactly how I word it. So in a meeting with a parent, you propose the plan you develop for your student to develop these reading skills and these concepts, and the parent disagrees with you. How do you handle it?
Okay, so if someone sides with the parent, then what?
You let them explain, and then you move on to the next question.
But then eventually the outcome of that,
They don't get the job.
Now watch as Boland reveals to our journalist how he uses a specific line of questioning during the interview process to help determine if someone is conservative, which plays a key role in his evaluation on whether to hire that individual or not.
in the hiring process, how can you figure out who's conservative and who's not?
It comes down to the stories. So typically an interview is 30 minutes, which is not a long time. So you got to be very specific about the questions. So I've developed a set of questions that I use for almost all my interviews, and it's all leading them to tell a story.
So then what do you do with them? Like if they're applying for a job?
You interview them, and you call them in a few days and say, sorry, we moved forward with another candidate.
So like you would,
I haven't hired one yet.
and would you ever, you think?
I don't think so. It's just that stuck mindset. I need a growth mindset.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I think one of the questions that I might start including is something about transgender studies. Students that are effective, was it non-binary?
Yeah.
If you end up with a student who's non-binary, tell me how you approach those students. That's a good question.
So what's the correct answer to that?
You treat the student with respect, you educate that student, they get to choose however they want to identify, that way to support them.
Right. And if someone gives the opposite answer and they're in support of, or they're not in support of transgender.
Yeah. So if you get somebody who's hardcore religious or hardcore conservative, they would probably say something detrimental to the event. I don't think kids have enough knowledge to make decisions.
If people knew that.
I don't know. Like, the teacher can feel how they want to fucking feel, man. But I, for the most part, I agree with how he believes teachers should conduct themselves when they come into contact with children like that. It's not on you to relay how you live your life onto these kids, right? If they come in there and that's how they want to be, and that's how they want to be, that's how they want to be. You got to just keep it professional, be the fucking teacher. It's not on you to fucking try to break them out of that.
If people knew that you didn't hire conservatives though, do you think they would be pissed or
Absolutely.
I'm not allowed to ask their political leaders, and they're not allowed to ask me. So it just comes down to the questions.
So you gotta prove it.
The way I've worded some of my questions, you can't really tell. All the proof is isn't the answer.
Right.
So that's, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
Boland's hiring practices aren't limited to just blocking conservatives from obtaining a job. They go as far as discriminating against Catholics, too.
So have you found like that certain religions tend to be more right wing? What do you mean?
The only one, and I'm not a huge expert on religion, but Protestants in this area probably are if they're Catholic, it's unbelievable.
Oh, so then what do you do with the Catholics? If you find out someone is Catholic, then what? So would you ever hire a Catholic then?
Also, I don't want to.
I agree, but why not?
Because it's just that there's always that, if they were raised on the court, it's like their language. They never change their mindset.
Who gives a fuck if they don't change their mind state? As long as they not impeding on the children, there shouldn't be no fucking issue, bro. That's discriminatory as fuck, bro. That's fucked up, bro. That's so fucked up. You are preventing motherfuckers from getting a job because they belief system. And what if this teacher that you just prevented from getting hired is the dopest shit up, a dope ass teacher? You kick them to the curb because you're afraid of how they view the fucking world. How they view the world should not present itself with these children. They don't need to fucking know about that. And if they are doing that, then all right, you address that accordingly. You get them the fuck out of there if you learn that they out here trying to teach children to live a certain way. That's a whole different conversation. Liberal, progressive, conservative, whatever the fuck they doing. If they in there trying to mold these kids to see the world the way they see the world, that's a fucking problem. You're just gonna dump all these potential dope teachers because of you're afraid of their belief system, bro.
So I asked them to consider something new, like new opportunity, we have to think about this differently, we just lost that.
Here I am holding of Connecticut Law Section 46A 60B, which specifically prohibits discriminatory employment practices. A violation occurs if anyone refuses to hire or employ, quote, because of an individual's race, color, religious creed, age, sex, gender, identity, or expression, etc., etc. Now watch as Mr. Boland tells our journalist that he thinks he is above the Connecticut state law and school rules when it comes to potential new hires. He discriminates using religion, politics, and age.
Have you had a lot of right
You know what's fucked up, though? This is an example of what takes place everywhere. All these motherfuckers that feel like they above the law. This shit happens all the goddamn time. All the goddamn time. You look at all the fucking higher heads in any fucking corporation, company, agency, whatever the fuck. I am above the law, which means I can do whatever the fuck I want. Legal system, law enforcement, all of that.
Years of fine?
No. But I haven't interviewed many because I feel like I'm able to screen it out.
How so?
I need younger. So, because Greenwich pays very well, you get teachers from other districts who've been there for a long time that want to come to Greenwich. But if they're older, I'm not allowed to do that. But I can't tell them I'm not interviewing you because you're older. I just don't interview you. So, like for one,
that a younger motherfucker's gonna be more liberal and progressive, dog. You fucking.
interviewing you because you're older. I just don't interview you.
This is fucked.
So, like for one position, we had 30 applicants. So, out of all those applicants, I don't think I interviewed anybody over the age of 30.
Because they would.
More than likely.
Because sometimes the older you get, the more set in your ways, the more conservative you get.
Remember that teacher I was talking about before, the 40-year-old? I'll never change that teacher.
You don't need to, though.
I'll never be able to change that teacher.
Which one?
The conservative one, who's stuck in her ways. I'll never be able to fire her. I'll never be able to change
Who
her.
gives a fuck if you need? But why? Who gives a fuck? You don't need to be changing nobody. That's not your responsibility. That's not what you should be doing, bro.
I'll never be able to fire her.
Trying to
I'll
indoctrinate
never be able to change her.
teachers.
So I make an impact with the next teacher I hire. So my instinct for hiring, I've hired maybe 4 or 5 people.
You hire some pawns.
So that's where I make my impact.
In Section B5 of Connecticut's statutes, it is against the law to aid, abet, incite, compel, or coerce, or attempt these discriminatory practices. Bolin is likely well aware that an educator at a public school cannot indoctrinate students with a political ideology. However, Bolin disregards this basic principle and encourages, quote, subtle democratic messaging.
Teaching them how to think. That's it. Doesn't matter what they think about it. If they think about it,
We're indoctrinating the children. You're teaching them how to think. Doesn't matter what they think about. Programming them, bro. Programming them.
how to think. That's it. Doesn't matter what they think about it. If they think about it in a logical, progressive way, that becomes their own.
Like so you can
Logical, fuck that. Progressive way. This shit is disgusting.
Logical, progressive way, that becomes their own.
like so you kind of like gear them to think in a more liberal way.
Facts.
Believe me, the hopefully the more progressive teachers are actually more savvy about delivering like a democratic message without really ever mentioning politics. It's subtle. They'll never say, oh, this is a liberal or a democratic way of doing this. They'll just make that the norm. And this is how we handle things. It's subtle.
And that's how you get away with it?
That's how you do it.
And how do you make sure the parents don't find out?
They can find out, so long as you never mention politics.
You can influence them to almost like be mad at the Supreme Court in a way without telling them to be mad at the Supreme Court.
Let's talk about the Supreme Court. If 80% of the country is in favor of this law, and yet the Supreme Court just said no, what are you going to do when it comes time to cast your vote, which then has a direct influence on who gets picked for the Supreme Court? We want people that are going to listen to the people. Who listens to the people? It wasn't the conservatives on the Supreme Court. It's little things like that. You hope those little things stick.
Right, which they probably will. And then later
The
down
question is, though, who's making him be this way? Like, is he taking it upon himself to brainwash these kids, or is it somebody else telling him to do it this way? And who are these fucking people? Homeschool about to be big business here pretty soon, bro. I'd imagine there's gonna be a bunch of little homeschool businesses popping all over the fucking place, man. Because you can't put your children in this. You can't put your children in the hands of these motherfuckers, man. Out here trying to fucking brainwash your kids. I mean, I already knew this, but to hear it out the horse's mouth like this, bro, is fucking crazy.
the line, you're going to vote Democrat. And you will have done a great service to our country. So it's like you present everything in a way that's like subconsciously influencing the kids to vote liberal in a way.
Indoctrination.
But it's not doing it in such an explicit way to where the parents can actually get mad at you for it.
Y'all trust these fucking schools if you want to. Fuck that. That's crazy. From the principal pretty much saying, yes, I am indoctrinating y'all's children, brainwashing them to do this down the road. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And this is just simple as political, man. Imagine all the other fucking things they can subconsciously program your children to do down the fucking road as an adult. Think this fucking way, bro. That has it is having an enormous impact on the newer generation now. You see all the crazy shit going on, bro. This is a big part of it, dog. Fuck the man. Yeah, hey. Bruh, the culture war is coming. I mean, it's here, but damn.